One of the problems with recruiting for investment banking is not the knowledge or skills you acquire, but the access to talk with real investment bankers to put your best foot forward. Our sponsor, WSO Academy, can provide those connections with 60 head mentors who are finance professionals at top firms like Goldman, Centerview, and JP Morgan. Imagine being able to get on the phone within 24 hours with one of the Academy's 1,300 mentors right before a critical interview. Get on the waitlist for WSO Academy today by clicking the link in the show notes or by visiting wallstreetoasis.com/academy. How do option management pools work in leveraged buyouts? Find out today on Investment Banking Insights. All right. Welcome to Investment Banking Insights. This is the only show dedicated to helping you learn both the technical and non-technical aspects of the investment banking process. My name is Alex Mason. I am your host, and we're talking about leveraged buyouts today. Talking about this concept of management option pools. So what am I talking about? Well, in a leveraged buyout, the existing management of the company may get incentivized to stay and run the business by being given a pool of stock options as part of the transaction. So imagine if you were in management shoes, like maybe you're the CEO or CFO of a company, and then some private equity firm comes to the owners. Maybe you're the owners, maybe you're not the owners, but they're like, yeah, we want to buy your company, and the deal gets done. Maybe you did, or maybe you didn't even want the deal to take place. Maybe it just happened and you're over here trying to do your job and you just want to keep doing your job. You don't necessarily want a private equity firm meddling in the business of your day-to-day operations, which may or may not happen. Now, in this scenario, a financial incentive to stay and help increase the firm's value, it helps align the incentives of the new equity investors, which in this case, the private equity firm, with the incentives of the company's management. So you're kind of looking for alignment. So if there's these management option pools that are given, then the CEO or CFO may say, you know what, hey, like maybe this deal is like kind of surprising, or maybe I wasn't expecting it, but I do have the opportunity to benefit financially from this transaction in the long run. So that is an aspect here that's pretty important. Remember in the M&A section of the podcast, Mergers and Acquisitions, where we were talking about this concept of an earnout? It's similar to an earnout, but remember with an earnout, there's this certain predetermined money that's paid after a certain amount of time or after certain metrics are hit, and it kind of incentivizes management to stick around. This is similar, but theoretically, there's no limit to how much management can make with the options, because the options are tied to the value of the stock. And the stock may be worth a lot more in the future, depending on how well the company does and depending on the exit multiple once the private equity firm sells the company. So that's a difference between the earnout and a management option pool. Now, let's say that you are a private equity firm. You decide to go for this option as part of the terms of a transaction. How do you account for this in your forecasting? Well, what you would do is you would look at the pool of options that exist and then figure out what the per share sales price of the firm would be in your model. So say you want to hold this business for 5 years, 7 years, and based on your leveraged buyout financial model, you would predict, okay, at this point in time in the future, I'm going to sell the business for this amount, and then figure out what the per share price is. And then you would use the treasury stock method, which remember we've talked about in the past, to help you calculate the net effect of dilution from the exercise of those options once the firm exits and is sold at a profit. Now, another thing to note here is that technically having a pool of options for management, it does actually reduce the return for the private equity firm because they have less equity, right? Because you're giving these options to management, they could convert those options into equity, and then that's less of the pie for you. However, the theory is that the pie overall may be bigger. From a qualitative perspective, the company might perform better because these incentives are in place. So the private equity firm might actually make more money in this scenario. Because if you got management that is happily working for you and they want to make money just as much as you do because they have a stake in it, then the company might actually perform better. So that's another scenario here, or thing to note. Okay, that's what I got for you today on Investment Banking Insights, recording live from Ithaca, New York, just trying to live life to the fullest. Hope you're having a great day, and I'll see you next time.